Hi everyone, my name is Mari and I live in Austin, Texas in the United States. And I just want to start off by telling you a little bit about my city. So Austin is located in central Texas and it has warm weather here pretty much year-round. Austin is the state capital of Texas and it's the 11th most populated state in the United States. Austin is known for its incredible music, delicious restaurants, food trucks, excellent university, and its vibrant tech scene. Residents of Austin are known as Austinites. They include a diverse mix of government employees, college students, musicians, high-tech workers, and blue-collar workers. The city's official slogan promotes Austin as the live music capital of the world. And that's just a reference to the city's many musicians and live music venues, as well as long-running PBS TV concert series, Austin City Limits, which is a big festival here that happens every single year downtown. But in recent years, some Austinites have adopted the unofficial slogan, "Keep Austin Weird," which refers to the desire to protect small, unique, and local businesses from becoming overrun of large corporation. And I think that term basically sums up the vibe down here in Austin. It's definitely a city on the move where people who love outdoors, warm weather, and succulent barbecue flock to live. And with its never-ending conferences, music, and sports events, it's the one that attracts people from all around the world. And it's always attracting new residents too. It's actually one of the fastest growing cities in the country population-wise. It's reported that about 150 new people become residents of Austin each day. Now, I'm about to share with you the many reasons why I am so in love with this city and why you should visit it too. I put together a quick itinerary of all the things that I personally love to do in Austin, and I sectioned them off by day, but really you could just take note of the things that you would love, like to do, and like to see, and do them any day and any time you have here. Alright, so day one of the itinerary, I want to start out with one of my all-time favorite activities to do here in Austin, Texas, mostly just because I love swimming, the water, and being outdoors. And that's stand-up paddleboarding on our iconic Lady Bird Lake, formerly called Town Lake. So what I suggest you do is rent a paddleboard at one of Austin's many boat rental places along Lady Bird Lake. The one that I always go to is called Texas Rowing Center. It costs about $20 for a paddleboard, and it gives you amazing views of the city and also amazing views of really, really nice homes up and down Lady Bird. And this usually takes me about 2 hours, but you can stay out as long of a time or as short as time as you want. And don't be scared of the paddleboards if you've never done the one before. They're incredibly easy and there's no waves in the water, so it's going to be very easy for you to stand up on the paddleboards. Now, the second thing I recommend doing right after paddleboarding is you're going to be hungry, so you might want to head over to some food trucks. And food truck pods are a huge thing in Austin. So after paddleboarding, you're going to head down the street to get some food from one of Austin's infamous food truck pods. You can find these pods all over the city, but there is one right near Lady Bird Lake off of Barton Springs Road with plenty of food options called the picnics. And I just want to clarify what a food truck pod is. It's basically where you have, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 food trucks, and they're all forming a circle, making a pod, and they're usually permanent moving, meaning they can move, but they usually always stay in the same location, so people who love that specific food truck know where to come back and find it. And those are iconic in Austin. So the third thing you want to do on day one is have a sunset picnic at Zilker Park. So you're going to want to get your food from the food truck, take it to go, and take it right next door to Zilker Park. That's right next to that pod called the picnic. You can basically walk there. It's so close. You can bring a blanket or a towel to sit on in Zilker Park and watch the sunset. You'll definitely want your camera because as the sun is going down over the city, it is the most beautiful sight. You can also bring a frisbee or a volleyball and play a game on Zilker's sand volleyball courts. There are just hundreds of people out on a beautiful day laying in Zilker, soaking it up. It's basically like the beach of Austin, so that's definitely a must-see, and it is right near the downtown area. All right, so day 2 of the itinerary. I recommend that you go to a place called Biscuits and Groovy for breakfast. It's definitely one of my favorite breakfast spots in all of Austin. I think it has the best biscuits and gravy. Sorry, it's called Biscuits and Groovy. It's a food truck, so you're going to want to Google that. Get there early. On some days on the weekends, there's a line, but it is worth it. After that, you're going to be pretty close to a street called South Congress Avenue, and that's a really popular place to go in Austin too. Congress is a must-see street with dozens of trendy boutiques, boot stores, and eateries lining the streets. Here you'll find the best Western wear and some of Austin's famous food spots, 2 of those being Home Slice Pizza, one of the best pizzas in Austin, and Joe's Coffee. Even if you aren't looking to shop, come here just to take pictures of all of the murals and artwork. Up and down the street are must-see murals you cannot miss. There's a big famous one that says Austin that a lot of people take pictures of, that I know I took a picture of in front of ones too. So definitely bring your camera and get ready to do some shopping. So after that, I recommend that you go have drinks on Rainy Street in the evening. If you haven't heard of Rainy Street, it's definitely a unique bar scene and nightlife street. It's a residential turned commercial row bars into remodeled bungalows, upscale eateries, and food trucks galore. You can come here for live music, drinks, and even go down a slide at a bar called Unbarleapable. So I highly recommend you check out Rainy Street. It is not your average bar street. It is extremely cute and definitely picturesque, so bring your camera there too. Now this is one of my favorite places to eat breakfast. If you haven't noticed yet, I'm a big breakfast foods girl, so you're going to want to hit up Wham Bam Bagels for breakfast. Go get my favorite bagels, breakfast sandwiches, and lattes in town at Wham Bam Bagels. It's a bright pink food truck right off of South Congress Avenue, so you won't miss it. But make sure you get there early because the lines can get pretty long, and if you wait until noon or after, they might have run out of a lot of the bagels there. So make sure you get there early. The oat milk latte is totally worth it there. All right, next up, you're going to explore Lady B Johnson Garden. So you can spend the afternoon exploring and taking in the beauty at Lady B Johnson's Wildflower Center. Take in beauty, relax in the garden. It features more than 900 species of native Texas plants in both garden and natural settings, and it's home to a bunch of educational programs and events too. So it's definitely a beautiful, relaxing walk around. You know, it's going to be perfect after a fun night on Rainy to just relax and take in some fresh air and look at some beautiful flowers. So next up, you got to get ready to get your drink on again because you're going to want to go to happy hour on 6th Street. This is a big one, and there's a lot of options on 6th Street, and you'll often hear Austinites talk about 6th Street. So make sure you head to 6th Street for a drink or 2 or 3. The street has live music and a lively nightlife. There are tons of bars there, but some of my favorites are the Rustic Tap, where you can usually find live music. It's usually a country band, and Buford's if you're looking for more of a dance scene. But I cannot even speak to the dozens and dozens of cute bars and cute places for happy hour up and down 6th Street. So on day 4 of your trip itinerary, I think you're going to want to start out the day by visiting another beautiful garden. It's called Zilker Botanical Garden. So Zilker Botanical Garden is often called the jewel in the heart of Austin. It's located on 28 acres next to Zilker Park, and it's filled with streams, waterfalls, and different themed gardens. It's definitely breathtaking, beautiful, and worth the small commission fee to get in. So right after that, you're going to go swimming at Barton Springs. This is definitely a big, iconic place in Austin as well. And it's actually just right across the street from Zilker Botanical Gardens, which is why you can hit them both up in the same day. So swimming at Barton Springs is one of my favorite things about Austin. Barton Springs is a recreational outdoor swimming pool that is filled entirely with water from nearby natural springs. You can dive in from the diving board, swim laps, or just lay out on the grass. There is a small fee to get in, but it is completely worth it. Next up, for your day, you can do some line dancing at the Broken Spoke. But listen up, even if you don't dance, you'll still have a great time here. The Broken Spoke is an Austin landmark, and it has been here since 1964. You can come here to dance and listen to some live country music. If you don't know how to two-step, no worries. They actually teach dance lessons there. I'm pretty sure they teach them every day. And if not, you can just sit and enjoy a nice meal and watch others dance. It's always a good time. Alright, so now we're on to day 5 of your trip itinerary. You are going to need to hit up Franklin's Barbecue. So Franklin's Barbecue is what lots of Austinites will call the best barbecue spot in Austin. And of course, if you're in Texas, you need to eat some good Texas barbecue. So Franklin's doesn't even open till 10:30 or 11 a.m., but the line starts forming at around 7 or 8 in the morning. That line grows and grows until the doors open, and then it moves slowly until they run out of that freshly smoked meat. But it will all be worth it. Franklin's, like I said, is known as the best barbecue in town. Next, you gotta work off some of that barbecue, so you're gonna do a short hike up Mount Bunnell. But don't let the word hike fool you. It should take about 10 minutes to get to the top, but it is climbing stairs the whole way up. Once you're at the top, you'll get a 360-degree view of the city and Lake Austin down below. And let me tell you, it is just beautiful and a great spot to take a picture. I think it's one of the highest points in Austin, Texas. All right, next up, you're gonna go for some live music and a beer at Rodeo. Rodeo is a bar in the south end of Austin. It's one of my favorites. Outside at Radio, you can sit on their trendy patio and listen to a live band. There are tons of tables and chairs for everyone. It's dog friendly, and there's a wide selection of beers, coffee, and pastries. Don't forget to try out the taco truck at Radio too. It's one of my favorites for dinner tacos or even breakfast tacos. All right, day 6, this is the last day of my itinerary, even though I think I could go on forever here. So in the morning, you're going to want to go to McKinney Falls State Park. So McKinney Falls State Park is basically an oasis on the outskirts of Austin. It features wildlife, hiking trails, and the main attraction, a series of the limestone ledges and pools over which Onion Creek flows. The park includes several hiking trails and just a cheap fee to get in. The two main areas of the park are the scenic Upper and Lower Falls along Onion Creek. After your hike at McKinney Falls State Park, you're going to want to head over to Torchy's Tacos. It's a popular taco spot in Austin, and you'll often hear Austinites talk about Torchy's, especially if you ask, where should we eat today? They're spread out in all different locations all over Austin, but my favorite location is the Torchy's on South Congress Ave. Now, Torchy's started off as a food truck, but has grown into 55 restaurants, and it's definitely a fan favorite here in Austin. All right, last but not least, you're going to want to definitely watch the largest bat colony in North America. Mexican free-tail bats arrive in central Texas in the early spring, and they hang around until the first cold front in late October to mid-November. There are several locations where you can see the group of bats when they emerge in the evening during bat season. It's like a cloud flying toward the east. The Austin American Statesman Park on the southeast side of South Congress Bridge is free and open to the public, but there's also standing room along the sidewalk of the bridge itself. Another way to see the bats and the city is to take a boat ride on Lady Bird Lake, and they all fly out from under the bridge at dusk. So that's why I put this one in the evening. Alright, so honestly, I can go on and on with this list forever because there are so many just endless things to do here in Austin, Texas, but these are just my favorites and the things I've had the most fun doing while I've lived here. One other mention, if you have time to get out of the city limits, or maybe you have a car here with you, is to drive up and explore Lake Travis and maybe rent a boat. It's truly beautiful up there. Austin has been named the 14th most fun city in the United States, according to a report by Wallet Hub. Austin is the top Texas city on the list. I'm Mari, and this is my city report from Austin, USA.